All right, hello everyone. Just want to take a quick look here at SPY and what you should be focused on. So everyone's talking about tech, 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 blah 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 blah, right? Meta, Facebook, whatever the hell you want to call it. Um, but despite all that, the S&P or SPY remains below this important 408 level. Now, one of the things we know about markets is that there are some price levels that are more important than others. Sometimes we know why, sometimes we don't know why. But for example, look up here. This is the 410 level. See its resistance here. We got up there and we stalled out. Same thing happened here a few months later. What is resistance? Well, there's a large concentration of sellers or investors who want to sell around the same price levels. So if the market's moving higher, there's not enough supply to fill all the demand. When we get to resistance level, all of a sudden there is. So that's resistance. Support is the opposite. Support is a large group of investors that want to buy at or close to the same level. So the market talks to you, and the best traders let the market tell them what to do. And a big part of that is seeing how the market acts when it gets to these important levels. Now, as long as we're below 408, the path of least resistance is probably down. We're right now it's April 27th. It's about 10 in the morning. SPY's trading at 407. So this is a pretty important level. I'd be surprised if we just smashed right through this. I mean, of course, maybe we get back above it, but I think it would probably take a few days. Also, I want to point out here too, notice how this resistance level turned into support here. Well, we see this a lot. This is because we have people who sold here who regret doing so when the price moved higher, and they told themselves, okay, I want to buy my shares back, but I'm only going to do it if I get them at the same price I sold them at. So I'm going to place my buy order around the level I sold at. So if there's enough of these remorseful sellers placing buy orders, the level that was resistance can turn into support. Why is it 408 and not 410 or 406? That I don't know, but I don't need to know. Knowing where these important levels are is like your roadmap. It's a map to the market. So here we have support, and this turns into resistance over here. This is because of buyer's remorse. There are people who bought in here who regret doing so when the price went lower. So they decide to sell and get out at break even if they can. So they don't want to take a loss. They want to get out at break even. So they tell themselves, if it gets back up to the level I bought, I'm going to sell. So if you have enough remorseful buyers placing sell orders, the level that was support can turn into resistance. So we see this a lot in the markets. This is a fundamental principle. Good traders know it. This is what technical analysis is really all about, understanding the supply and demand dynamics. So me personally, I would think that the path of least resistance is lower over the next few days. Now I want to show you the S&P consists of 11 different sectors, and different things are in the driver's seat at different times. So all the talk is, if you put on CNBC or Fox Business News or whatever, you would be hearing about how tech is ripping higher, right? Because Facebook is up or whatever. But here's the tech sector. I mean, it's not even moving, right? I mean, those are just a couple stocks might be up, but this shows us that the other stocks are down. So this is not even moving. This is XLK. This is the ETF that tracks the technology sector. So notice here this important level, resistance became support. So it's not a coincidence that when we had our recent sell-off back on, what was it, Tuesday, this is where we found support. It's support there because it was resistance there. So if a market's going lower and you want to get an idea of where to buy, look into the past and see if you could see a level that had been resistance or support before, because resistance can turn into support, and levels that are support or resistance can stay intact for a while. That's called market memory. A lot of times it's longer than you could even think. Could be months, could even be years. But up here, see this resistance level, stayed resistance. Down here we have support level. So if you're thinking about where to buy or where to sell, look into the past for what are important price levels, because when the stock you're trading or the crypto or whatever it is that you're trading gets to one of those important levels, there's a good chance it makes a tradable move, either a reversal or a breakout. When something gets to one of these important price levels, they tend not to hang out at them for too long. They tend to break one way or the other. So let me show you what the media is not seeing, or at least talking about, that I've seen. Our second biggest sector in the market is healthcare. And once again, we see resistance became support, becomes resistance, becomes support. This is heading lower. This is actually a really big move for this sector over the last couple of days. So this is kind of melting down here. So 129.50 is the level to watch here. Probably get a bounce if we get to there. So this is the sector. If the sector looks like it's going to bounce, well, there's what we're looking at here is like an aggregate or an average of all the stocks in the sector. So just by definition, if it looks like the sector is going to bounce, there's going to be stocks within the sector that will bounce by more. So you can look in the ETF, get the fact sheet, XLV, and then go to SSGA, that's State Street Global Advisors, and you can see which companies are in here and which ones look like they are going to bounce more. So just by definition, there's going to be ones that look better, ones that look worse, right? Because this is the average. All right, so pay attention to this, XLV. Don't believe the hype about big tech, and pay attention to that 408 level in SPY. It could keep it sailing on the market, at least for the next few days. All right, thanks everybody. Appreciate it, and I will talk to you soon.